So, hello and welcome to another update of my quest to build the automation game world in the game Transportiva 2. We've now reached the year 2016, and so that's the end of the build phase, and this is then one more video to show some of the landscape and the cities, etc. through different means. And the means for this video is one we hadn't had before, so that's simply following one of the sims on their daily business. So here we have Jensen Evans driving their car, living in Cassmouth, so on the very west at the mouth of the River Cass. And so Jensen goes shopping in Harford by car and works in Yalta of all places, which is back in Achana, but goes there by public transport. So here Jensen is now in their car on their way to Harford, and we're simply going to follow along. So now leaving Cassmouth, going out of the city and to the coastal road, seeing other sims going about. I haven't installed traffic lights or anything because these usually just slow things down and screw up the or any lines that might pass through here. So we're now on the coastal road going south across the River Cass. Here we see one dump truck coming probably from the highlands, from an ore mine or from a coal mine there. But this is an inner city road, so this is limited to 50. So we see the houses here on the outskirts, and now we're about to leave the city, and then we can go up to 80. So Harford is behind these mountains there. So now we should, accelerate to 80. Here we see a bus of the a West Coast connection. So there are no train lines here. There's just a bus that goes back and forth. Another of those dump trucks, and two more sims going towards the north, towards Cassmouth. So another bridge coming up. One of the newer bridges, there is still one old stone bridge. I mix and match those. So in 1850, when I started the map, these stone bridges are the only things that exist, and then I had to manually upgrade them. I upgraded most of them, but not all of them. So now we're going into the highlands. So up the hill, seeing another dump truck. Probably coming from the ore mine up there. And yeah, not much traffic here. But that's then going towards the Great Lakes and to Harford. There is another bus which connects Harford with Eastport, I think. So the bus would turn south at the junction where we turned here into the highlands. So now we're going uphill. And have to go a bit slower here in these tighter curves. Another dump truck and another truck that delivers, I think, goods to Eastport or Cassmouth, and here is a tank truck that delivers fuel to Eastport. That's something I'm sure about. That's the only city on the west coast that needs fuel. So here we have the ore mine where the dump trucks come from. And what we see in the distance is where I put the headquarters. So that's the place of the automation test truck. So I imagine being a dam there, and as a small Easter egg for anyone who looks at the map, that's where the headquarters are. But we don't turn right to go there. We keep going straight ahead towards Harford. We're seeing more sims. So these roads are limited to 80, otherwise we could do 100. That's the maximum that the vanilla roads have. So we happen to see a plane landing at Harford Airport. It's a red one. So it could be the Boeing 737 that runs between Harford and Kronograd. Another bus coming from Harford. And I'm not sure where we're stopping here. But anyway, Sometimes you have these small quirks in the roads that you don't see from the outside. So that's Harford ahead. So we see the airport at a fair distance. On the right there is the oil refinery, where oil is shipped to from both Belua and also from the Great Plains. That's via train. So Gasmea has some own oil sources. So here we now turn right into Harford, and we see the sidewalks. So they're now in the city again. And let's see where the destination is of our commercial building, where we want to go shopping, or where Jensen wants to go shop. So we're staying at the outskirts. So this is North Harford. This is all a very, very recent. Another plane landing, a Q400. If that's green, then it's coming from Fruinia. We're also following a tram. So the capitals and Lawston-on-Cleres, they're the only cities that have trams. Those trams usually need larger cities, which we don't have on this map due to space constraints. If you wander around the autosave, it's on, and I think I'm saying this in all my videos. So simply keep autosave on for filming. Otherwise, I'll probably forget to switch it back on again if it were to turn it off. Not that the game crashes or anything. It's more like if I screwed up, then I have an easy time loading other stuff. So here again, the northern outskirts of Harford, seeing some train going up to the plastics factory in Midbury. So some boxcars for the plastic and the oil tank wagons for the refined oil. So let's see where we are going. So now a bit south into the newer parts, into the older part of Harford. All now new buildings here of the third set. Okay, we're staying up here, so the commercial building has to be here because that's a dead end from the looks of it. So then that was the trip from Cassmouth to Harford, and that's an ore train here going to the ore mine at Tallstone, I think. And yeah, so here obviously that's then the commercial building. So that was the first part. So let's find us another sim where we can join. Let's just stop and have an easier time aiming, and there aren't that many around here necessarily. So Lottie Brown goes to Barron Hill, which is in the north. That could be something, but I'd rather someone going south actually. So Jaden Kelly is going to Crafton. Yeah, that's the good direction. And then Robinson goes home to Harford. Yeah, then let's jump on Jaden's truck here and let's go south to Crafton. So again, we are in... Okay, we're at the southern part of Harford, so we're now leaving Harford, going across this bridge where we probably see ships going to that refinery. Yeah, so the refinery is ahead, so here lots of tank ships dock. Harford has already extended here beyond the city boundaries. That's another bus going, yeah, Harford Eastport. And now we're going south, so here is the lake. And so here the roads are still 80 kph. There would be 100 on the other side, but we don't have take some time. So here we are past the Great Lakes, see a big train and road bridge on the left, where one of the high-speed trains, I suppose, is just crossing over here. We see some delivery trucks for Harford coming from Crafton. Another one. Not sure what they transport, something like bricks probably. I haven't painted these. I never needed to. They all worked flawlessly. So up to 80 again. Further south. And approaching the tool factory of Crafton. That's the smokestacks that we see ahead. There is a plane launching from the looks of it. So here is the Crafton port. Here's the tool factory. And we're now entering Crafton. Here are the trucks waiting for stuff. So this is all Crafton. I suspect we turn right. So it's not 50 again because it's in a city. That's the steel mill up ahead. Here we see one local delivery truck that's returning. That's empty. That's the local bus for Crafton, I suspect. Yeah, it is. And suspect we're turning left. Yeah. So another delivery truck. One of the older bridges. And going uphill. South through Crafton, so that's now the older part of Crafton. But most buildings I think here have been replaced as well, so there are 3 generation of buildings and they auto-replace most of the time. So here the city has already expanded into the hills, into the highlands. It's something that happens automatically, so cannot really control that. So that's I suspect a rather new part of Crafton. And yeah, so somewhere here is the building where... No? Okay. Not sure where the AI is going now. This one? This one. Ah, that's why. Okay. So that was Harford to Crafton. So let's find another one. Another sim to follow. There isn't that much happening here. So where are these folks going? To Lawston and to Lawston as well. And this one goes to residential also to Lawston, so it doesn't matter. So let's go with Stanley. So that's then the other side of Crafton towards the lake, and here we see wider roads, so we will be able to go 100. So we pass the Winley steel mill. Just running at full swing. There's a train line to the right, so you see the catenary, so that's where the high-speed trains go to Berlau, or the diesels go to Lawston and Penya. One of the few traffic lights, here it made sense. Because here you go left towards Springvale across the lake, or you go right into Lawston. Yeah, so there you see one of the high-speed trains going across the bridge. And then I suspect here somewhere is where our sim will live, but we get a nice perspective of going under this massive bridge. Okay, so no, that was a turnaround, but I suspect, yeah, we are there. So that was Crafton to Lawston. So these were, I think, both going to Lawston as well. So let's find someone else. Another Lottie goes to Penya, so that would be towards the west, where we basically came from, just on the south end. With anyone else here? So many sims are on public transport, so then they're not easy to find. So that we don't have that much car traffic here speaks, I think, volumes that the public transport network is working. Anyone else around here? Not really. Sebastian is going to Felsbach. That's an interesting journey, and that's a long journey. And that's probably an interesting journey. So he goes north. But Felsbach is the only, basically the only way we can go there. It's following a sim. Because that's not that well connected. Esla goes to Penya. Yeah, so then let's follow Sebastian to Felsbach, which is smack dab in the middle of the Great Plains. So we're going back, but we will be able to stay with them for a fair while, because that's a long distance, and he's just launched from Lawston, so that's actually okay. Cool. Then let's go back. We see one of the local trains, so Lawston and Penya, and now we are driving a little bit back the same route where we came from, but then we will go across the next mountain ridge from the Great Lakes area into the Great Plains area. See a truck? I think that's machines from Crafton, I think. Something like that. So we have to stop at the red light. And we'll be going over the lake. It was a short traffic light phase, which is good. So here we see the ships and the port of Crafton again. So we'll pass Harford. So here is the big bridge over the shortest or the narrowest area of the Great Lakes. So here we have the road bridge, and then there is the rail bridge right next. See another plane launching from Harford Airport. Some dump trucks bringing ore down from an ore mine over there. So that will be the Trepham ore mine. And we might go straight. Not sure which route they will take here. Another traffic light, because that's a big junction. Yeah, we go straight ahead. So we pass the railway tracks, a single line down to Springvale. And we're now back on a smaller country road, so only 80 from here. So now going east, straight east, from the Great Lakes area into, or over this mountain ridge, the Lannon Ridge into the Great Plains. So towards Aylesbury is this now, I think. So we'll see the odd dump truck here, and we'll see then the ore mine. Yeah, we're seeing it there at the towards the what's that? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So this is all uphill. And here is nothing but landscape. There is the Harford Airport, so that's the last view of the Great Lakes. Yep, so here is the ore mine carved into the mountain. We'll go past that. Go further uphill. And yeah, we see one railway bridge, and that's it. So here is the ore mine to the right. Crossroads, but we go straight ahead. Yeah, that's then down to is that to Aylesbury? I think it's north of Aylesbury. No, that is Aylesbury. Yeah, so there's Aylesbury ahead, and then on the other side of the river we have the Aylesbury cargo station. And we see other sims going across the mountain ridge as well. So here we should see some action at the cargo station. And here is then the view towards the Hetversian Alps. The Rayford fuel refinery, the smokestacks supplied by the Aylesbury cargo station, and now we're entering Aylesbury. It's probably a bit smaller than it would be in real life, because if I were this to make the big hub, there would be a very sharp curve from the railway lines into here, and so the trains would only do something like 50 or 40. And we see one of the local trains, the multiple units, they're leaving the Aylesbury station, going out to Picton. That's why Aylesbury is a bit sort of tucked away, and not the big hub, and Picton has sort of become the big hub, at least for passengers. There we have the Aylesbury train station with this fancy new building. So across that bridge, or yes. So now we're going across the big river. See plenty of ships going back and forth on both sides. And we, won't see, here is the truck stop, where goods are moved from the train station. We won't see much of the train station because I need all those buildings to store the cargo in there that the trains deliver. There is enough storage space, so there isn't much to see here, unfortunately. So we're now in the southern Great Plains. Here is a dump truck for grain and a supply truck for Picton, I suppose. And no, we're not there yet. It will still be a fair bit. So we're going east, a bit northeast now on this curve. So we see a farm ahead. So this is, basically Gasmea's version of the flyover country. Not much happening here. There we see a high-speed train. That's lucky. There are only two running on that track. So it comes from Picton and goes non-stop all the way to Vilburg on their own tracks. You probably have to wait for it at the trains at the railway crossing. But there's nothing wrong with that, I suppose. Or does this go parallel? But we see it easily overtakes us. So we're doing 80 and this thing is just starting. I think it hits 210 or so before Vilburg. No, it's parallel. Cool, but perfect view. Plane ahead, probably landing at Vilburg Airport. Coming from Bella, maybe? Or Harford. That's one or the other. Otherwise, so lots of landscape here and rocks. So here there is the railway crossing. We don't have to wait. Train is already passed. So we should be close to, at least, if not having reached the French-speaking part, so Viestella Bay. So the point here, ore mine, down here, and its port. And now entering Viestella Bay. So the French-speaking part, Felsbach, is a bit north of that. So the lift is towards the ore mine, so we're turning right is towards the ore mine, we're turning left. Under the railway bridge for the regular tracks, so for the local passenger trains and the cargo train. And now turning right, going into the city area of Viestella Bay. I could probably override that because there isn't much city here yet, so this could also be 80. But anyway, so busy port here and lots of trucks to supply the surrounding cities, also trucks bringing logs to the port. We could go left or we could go straight, both works. Very nice color of the car. Okay, so we go left, so we get a prime spot to see the port. So here lots of stuff happening, lots of ships docking, and we see lots of trucks, because that's a very big area here for truck traffic. I think this road doesn't even exist on the map. I've simply added that to handle all the different truck traffic and to route and direct the different types of tracks so that they don't stand in each other's way. So the logs, this log truck coming from one forest logging operation dumping their cargo here, another one dumping stone, I think, there, and the third one would go all the way to the port and dump stuff there. So here we see plenty of trucks. We might be stuck behind the truck in front of us till the entire time, because that, from the right color, could be a truck to Felsbach, delivering bricks. Could also go to Chapelle, so I think both are red. Yeah, more logs and more logs, probably from two different logging operations. And now we're north of the river here. Yeah, so this one goes to Felsbach, and so we will be following that the entire way. But that's full of bricks. So now we're going into the, yeah, sort of no man's land. So we're leaving the French-speaking part and going into the northern part of Schemland, so the German-speaking part of Gasmea. It's a bit unfortunate. We could be a bit quicker, but anyway. And there is, I think, one or two bus lines in Felsbach, but that's it. So it's very much off the beaten path. Have to cross another smaller mountain ridge. That's what we're doing now. The MAN truck is reasonably powerful. Autosave again. So now we go downhill. Have to be cautious that we don't run into the truck. But this is more or less literally the middle of nowhere on this map. And truth be told, I think I've forgotten Felsbach a few times when I did some upgrades. So here on the right we would go to the Schemland core lands, so Erkhausen, Rensweiler, Wilburg, etc. To get to Felsbach we have to cross, I think, one more bridge or even two. Otherwise just landscape here, there is no ship traffic on this river. Yeah, so I think it's two more bridges, because there are two arms of this river, so that's the first arm. We're now going to turn right. Here I kept the old stone bridge, or rather probably I forgot to upgrade it, but I probably would have kept it anyway. Here it makes sense. This sort of forgotten part of the country. So lots of landscape. Great if you like it, but probably not if you would be in for any action. So here another small mountain ridge, then we get to the second arm of the river, and behind that we should then see Felsbach. There we go. So the town is literally the name a rock river, so I placed a few rocks here as well. It has grown nicely into those mountains. So we haven't been here before ever, I think. It has no port, it has no anything, just gets supply either from the north coast or from the southern part where we just followed the truck from. So let's see where we're heading to here. So to give an idea where we are, so here in the middle of the Great Plains. Now let's find more Sims, maybe someone who's going south. Where's Scarlet going? Kirkstad, that would be north. Where is Sebastian going? Going to the commercial building in Chapelle. Yeah, so that would be the same route back. That wouldn't be that interesting. Sarah is going to Barren Hill. Lila is going to Felsbach, so it's going home. Do we have someone here? No, that's a bus. Aisha is going to Felsbach. We had Sebastian. Where is Ibrahim going? Rensweiler. Yeah, let's ride with Ibrahim in his nice large Gasmean car. That will take us to Schemland, the eastern part. And we're seeing some roads we haven't seen before. I think there might be a bus route, Felsbach-Rensweiler, but I'm not entirely sure about that even. Do we see the same car, incidentally? Yeah, there is the bus route, Felsbach-Rensweiler. So again, a long country road through the middle of nowhere. And we're seeing some light traffic. Not much, so ahead is then some more bridge work. So here we're getting into busier parts. So that's, I think, the road bridge from Rensweiler to Wilburg Airport, slightly north of it. First we meet the steel mill at Erkhausen, so that's where all the smoke's coming from ahead. So one of the biggest steel producers. And the steel is exported to the Hammersbach machines factory, but the biggest chunk to Harford and then further south to Tannenstein in Hetvesia. And all that steel is exported via trains. So I suspect we turn right. We do, and we cut off that other car. So here is the steel mill. It's all its glory. And we're turning left towards Rensweiler. So that's basically the stand-in for the city of Erkhausen. You won't see a city, there wasn't any space, so it's just the industry. So let's say the steel mill defines the character of Erkhausen. Some trucks transporting the steel to the port of Rensweiler, and then there is a short ship ride from Rensweiler-Port to Wilburg Port, and then the steel is then loaded on trains and exported, driven west. So should be just around the corner, more or less literally, our destination, Rensweiler. So here is the loading station for the Rensweiler port. So we see some food for Rosendorf and for Rensweiler as well. So this is Rensweiler, nested here into the hills. So let's see where we're going. And again, all buildings, I think in all cities, have been now replaced. So they're all now of the third era. So they look all the same. So we are now home. Ibrahim is back home. And let's see who else to pick. At least there is some selection here. So Michael is going to Vignoles-les-Bains. That's where we came from. Rory is going to Porto Castelfranco. That sounds like a good ride. Because we have to go at some point south. I hope it will be sooner than later. Should be. So let's ride with Rory. to Fruinia. We'll be across the Alps one way or another, so we're leaving Rensweiler. We're now going west again, just a different route, because we came from the north, from Felsbach, and we have now to go south-ish towards the Alps and then Porto Castelfranco in Fruinia. So we're going to get some mountain passes, so one here. Across this also has a name, which name escapes me. Is that the Schwerthöhe? I think it is. There's a long railway tunnel on the other side of Rensweiler, through the Schwerthöhe. So that's the Alps ahead, and we might just go straight on. See one of the high-speed trains in the far distance. Otherwise, yeah. So some logging operation on the right. We might see the odd truck going there or coming from there. Yeah, there is one. So this is then back to the French-speaking part. That's now Chapelle. Left bridge for the old rail line. Well, not the old one, but the standard one, the non-high-speed one, where all the cargo trains run and the local passenger trains run as well. So I suspect we will turn left at some point here. Yes, looks like. That's now Chapelle. One of two cities in the French-speaking part that are actually modeled on the map. And okay, we go straight. So now we cross the train line. So here we see bricks being delivered, and yeah, a bit of an odd animation, but that's it. Only train? Yes, we can go ahead afterwards. This is rather new all, because this was a large extension. So here are logs being moved from Chapelle towards the west, and this had to be constructed on a rather long rail track, so this road had to be rebuilt. And we see one of the trucks, why is it not full, delivering logs here to the train line, and we don't care, we turn left and then make our way across the Alps. Here we are crossing the high-speed train line. Easy to see because they have a catenary, whereas the other train lines in Gasmea, at least here, are all diesel. So here we see a fully loaded truck taking logs to Chapelle. And now we're entering the Alps, the Alpine Pass, so we'll be steeply uphill. Also mountain brooks. The bus runs from Chapelle to Porto Castelfranco. And some traffic. A plane. I suspect coming from Terzo and going to Wilborg or going to Konagrad even. So here we now in Fruinia. That's the dump trucks bringing ore in from an ore mine at Montevias, I think. I'm not mistaken. So now here in the Fruinian Alps, so winding mountain pass. That's part of the route for the Millemonti event by Der Bayer, by the way. And almost a traffic jam here with the bus and the truck and the Sims driving between Fruinia and Gasmea across the mountain pass. So across the bridge, and then we should be downhill towards, I think, Marina first, and then Porto Castelfranco on the coast. Another of those buses going across the Alps. There is no train line up here. These mountains are simply too steep, or the map is too cramped to make trains work. So we see a big bricks factory up ahead. And that's also where an inland port is, near Marina. And that's also where these dump trucks are coming from and going to. So another mountain river. So that's Marina ahead, where we will probably pass through. I think just to the outskirts. So nested here in the mountains. So we turning right, probably. So here, look into Marina and how it's nested into the Alps. And now back out of the city towards Porto Castelfranco. More dump trucks. There's also a coal mine here somewhere, and some dramatic views of rivers and roads and mountains. So I think we're going straight, and then we should have Porto Castelfranco appearing at the horizon. Yeah, don't run into the dump truck. So a lot of mining operations here in the Alps, and the ore and coal has to go somewhere, and there we see a few loaded with ore and coal. So here is the big bricks factory, and more trucks. So the red truck has bricks and the teal truck has tools for Marina. So there's a big port on the other side where all that stuff is being unloaded. We might just sneak behind that tool truck. Yes. So there's the port, and here is the road down to Porto Castelfranco. So I usually color these trucks if I need to debug some of the routes, so if they are standing on each other's feet, or if they are queuing somewhere or doing other weird stuff. I'm not sure what the point of that was. Otherwise I leave the default colors, which is the dark green for the MAN trucks. So it looks like we're turning into home in Porto Castelfranco here somewhere. Not here, that's more in an industrial area. Here we have a bus line going through Porto Castelfranco, as I think with all cities. So that all these people here can be ferried to their train station or whatever they want to go. So this looks like a residential area, so I suspect we're almost there. Here we are. So let's see. One more ride maybe? To other parts of Fruinia or even Hetvesia. One can dream. Do I see anyone? Any sim? No, not really. This one, Penelope, is going to Ellisbury. That's where we came from, basically. That's not too interesting. So here I think we have usually pretty good coverage of public transport with this train line going here. I guess they have to cast a bit of a wider net. Anyone here on these highways? Sophie going to Viestella. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, I think. And the only plan, because there isn't anyone else here, so at least we won't have anyone. Yeah, so the only choice is then Sophia to Viestella. So we're going back west on the very well built, very wide, very fast Fruinian coastal highway. A traffic light, that's probably not necessary, but I guess here aren't any routes that are in the way, so that doesn't matter. So here, until Porto Castelfranco here, we have 4 lanes, otherwise then afterwards we're going into 2 lanes. So this is called Porto Castelfranco again, the southern part. Here is a big port. And we go straight ahead and follow the coastline and also go parallel here to the train tracks, which only contain passenger trains, because all the cargo is being transported here with tons of ships. So here we are almost level with the train tracks. Here's a port, I think, for a logging operation. Yeah. So that's here on the right. And then we should have a dirt road here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So going west, plenty of ships, tankers from the Lure and back, but also regular ships carrying other stuff here along the coast. So now we're going under the train tracks, because here we have a bit of a bay, and we follow the bay, but the train obviously doesn't want to follow the bay. So we have the train bridge. Hardly any traffic here, and I think the main reason is we have this train line here, so anyone who wants to go along the Fruinian coast will take the train, with very few exceptions. The train also goes faster than 80, goes even faster than 100, and 100, as I said, is the limit for roads in at least vanilla. There are mods for that, obviously. So a green ship, so that's a Fruinian tanker, and red ships, that's Gasmean tankers. So here we are now at Viestella, which has a passenger terminal for hovercraft to Vianta, and a cargo port, as all cities here are, just to be supplied by stuff. We see the Klaffenstein volcano in Hetvesia in the far distance, now at 11 o'clock. Coming on 12. And now, when we live just across the train tracks here. So Viestella also has grown here into the area behind the city. Monte San Ignacio, I think, ahead, with the a lake on top, a crater lake on top. Okay, so I guess we are here on the other side of this factory. And I can probably exit. So here is the goods factory in Viestella. So let's pick maybe the final ride for today. Can we get someone who goes somewhere interesting further west? Maybe? Anyone here? Nope. Here is someone coming. Maya is going to Viestella, comes from Crafton. We probably don't want to wait that long till they're finished with shopping. So Sophia is going to Marena. That's here. Samuel is going to Zeilwies, so that's then within Fruinia. And yeah, this thing should be here, so then that's fine. Anyone coming down here? Zeilwies is fine, but Zeilwies is not that far. But yeah, let's then join Sam on their way to Zeilwies. Making a bit of a jump, but anyway. So again, the Klaftenstein volcano. So there is Hetvesia. We're now approaching the border. These trucks here dump their stuff for the big Marena port. And the city we saw before in the middle of the Fruinian Alps was Meranio, not Marena. Always mix these two up. So here is the big, huge port. Lots of stuff happening. An oil refinery. And now we're in Hetvesia already. And again, going parallel to the train tracks, and that's why we don't have that much traffic here. Everyone who wants to go from A to B here, or most everyone who wants to go from A to B here, takes the train. That's why we have so deserted roads here. Essentially only populated by my own trucks. Cargo, so that one brought grain from one of the mountain farms. Here is the unload spot. And lots of delivery here across these, well, not highways, for all the cities here from the ports. So if they're not colored, that could be anything, and there were lines that simply deliver stuff and haven't ever given me any headache that I need to debug them. So Zeilwies is here, so we should turn right here or the next one. See a logging truck coming also down from a logging operation in the mountains here. Yeah, so we are at Zeilwies, so that was a short ride. So across the train tracks again. And Zeilwies also here at the foot of the Hetvesian Alps, so the mountains are a bit higher here. And here is also the road that goes into these mountains, and there we see one of the logging trucks going empty, and we probably see a full one. So that comes from Wangensee, I think, on the other side of the Alps, and they bring the logs all the way down here. Yeah, there we go. So this one goes to commercial, so probably also turning left. Or going straight on? No, going straight on. Oh, all commercial here. Squeezed in between the road and the river. They should think of some guardrails here instead of all these post boxes. Seeing foot traffic here, so they could need some buses probably here, but anyway. Okay, we're going down, so we're, yeah, basically there. So that was a short ride, so maybe one final one. From Zeilwies to anywhere else. A real final one, if there is anyone here. Except my own trucks. Molly goes to Zeilwies. So that's not that interesting. Kian Young Watson goes to Zeilwies. Bit out of luck here. Here isn't anyone. I wouldn't expect anyone. Here are just my own trucks. Summer is going to Naubad. That sounds great. That sounds great. Another city we haven't seen before. So we're now in Friedheim. So I moved a bit further west. We're now waiting for a train, one of the local commuter trains in Hetvesia, and we're going to Naubad, which is up in the Hetvesian Alps. So that's, I think, a great final ride. So that's it. Yeah. So barriers going up, and then let's go to Naubad. So now at the foot of the Klaffenstein mountain in Friedhain am Meer. And there is the Monte San Ignacio where we were earlier in Viestella. On delivery truck, I think these bring stone up to the bricks factory in Ungenstadt, and then the bricks back down again. So I have to use the generic tarpaulin trucks because these are two different types. So making a U-turn effectively, going back across the train tracks. Then we see a local bus here for Friedhain. And now we are following that truck going up the hill into the mountains, and have to let the bus through. And as you can see, there are actually people in the bus, and these people in the bus match the number of riders. So that's actually all modeled in the game. So we can see a bus loading and unloading people. And there are actually quite a few waiting there. So the doors open, people leave and people enter, sit down. And doors close again. So the bus doing its job. That's an ancient stop. Thought these would replace automatically, but apparently they don't, and that's magic. Nice. Okay, so we're in Friedhain, leaving Friedhain. There is the bricks factory that I mentioned earlier in Ungenstadt, or standing in for Ungenstadt, because there is no space here in the mountains. So again, this bricks factory dominates then Ungenstadt. And now we can stretch our legs a little bit, going into the hills and up to Naubad. And we're seeing a route that we haven't seen before either, because I don't think there runs a bus even from here to Naubad. So here's the bricks factory, and then the road narrows, because I think this is too steep for the other road type, so this is limited to 60 and doesn't have a middle markers. Because that's the only way how these roads can fit on here, and with these junctions which have to be level, not making things easier. So I wasn't able to upgrade those to 80 kph roads. So that can take a little bit of time going uphill, with limited to 60 on this type of road. So you still have old stone bridges. And again, more landscape. So mountains, rocks, rivers, trees. I think we should get to an 80 kph road at some point. So I think not on this side of the Hetevesian Alps. So first to some serpentines. The limit is the curve radius and not even the road. This is I think also at the limit of what is possible in vanilla without mods to make the Alps work, or rather to make the roads to the Alps work at all. Yeah, so we have to climb a fair bit here into the Alps to reach Naubad. See less and less trees up here, and more bare rocks. Might be some sprinkles of snow here. Yeah, that's snow texture. So we're in a really up high. Yep, so there is the proper road again. So it means we're getting closer to Naubad. So basically at the moment traversing the Hetvesian Alps from east to west all the way. And we're going right. Don't mind this odd road here. Probably was the only way to make that fit. So now some better roads. I think this is one of the hallmark mountains in the cyclist. The Weisshorn, yeah, I think that's the name, that is the Weisshorn. That tank truck goes to Gasmea, brings fuel from the Rayfield fuel refinery, and that was a dump truck from one of the farms here. 2 planes, probably both launching from Berlau and then turning around. This one could go to Terso, maybe? And the other one goes somewhere, Wilburg or Konagrad or something like that. So here's Naubad. I think the only real mountain city where I found space. So there are trucks waiting to pick up grain. And we go into Naubad. Nested into the high Alps. So here we are. So I suspect we will reach the Sims home pretty soon, and then that should have been it. So with a nice ride across the left half of the map, roughly, a bit more, maybe even 2/3, going from Cassmouth in the very west up to Rensweiler, which I think is past the midpoint, and then back west, then up to Naubad and stopping by in Fruinia in the meantime. So here we see, yeah, the outskirts of Naubad, and I suspect the home will be reached soon. One more plane, leaving, having left Berlau Airport, and then climbing here across Naubad. Bus stop here, of course. Public transport exists. Alright, so there we are in Naubad. So that's at the almost at the western end of Hetvesia. So this was interesting, maybe a new and unique view of this map, so not bound by wherever public transport goes, but where Sims actually go and drive then to live, to work, or to shop. So I hope this was interesting, and if you haven't done so yet, then have a look at the other videos showing this map in action. See you then.